Hey, mate.
Hey, mate, what's happening?
It's 10:30 p.m. What do you reckon?
Yeah, for you it is. For some.
What time is it for you?
4:26 p.m. Finished work.
Beautiful. Finished work, and we are here to talk about the baggers.
The baggers. I'm so excited for this.
Right? What
Mm.
do we call this something? Like, do we call it something? Like, I don't know. Sibling.
I was thinking, yeah. Well, then we've got to get Chris involved, and that's a slow burn.
You know,
Right?
Chris he's not been on the channel at all. Nothing.
I know.
Zero.
I know. We've got to get him involved if it's a sibling thing. But I was
Mm.
thinking about it today about what we could call it. I don't know. We have to think of it. We have to think of something.
Well, we can just shoot the shit and see how we go.
Shoot the shit. Yes, we can. Chin wags.
Shoot the shit with your siblings.
Yeah.
So.
Yalla.
I know, right? How good is it?
It's so good. How
good is it?
Yeah, it's great. Carlton is good. That's what I've been saying lately. Carlton is good.
They're actually good. It's
Yeah.
no more at the start of the year. Oh, you know, Carlton will be good this year. It's like,
No.
They're good.
It's like that. That's what you do.
Yes.
It's
Where
all
were
come
you?
together.
Where were you for Gold Coast? What were you doing? How'd you watch it?
Home TV streaming from the International Watch AFL app as usual.
As usual.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, not to go into it too much, but first quarter, sweating, stressing, whatever. But then as time went on, and I've sort of consumed a lot of the content on social media the last week, I suppose. And I feel that and after the game, I felt bad for feeling bad after quarter one because we probably should trust them by now. They've shown us enough to be able to say, just calm the farm. We've got this, but you know, it is what it is.
20 plus years of trauma will do that to you.
It's true. It's actually true.
Not that it's an excuse anymore.
No, not that it's an excuse. But no, it was great. A great feeling. Oh, just so many moments, like so many jumping off the couch moments, screaming. You know, it's quiet for a little bit, and then you scream, and then you worry about the neighbors thinking there's something going on. But it was good. Happy to be where we are.
Do you remember how low everything was after Essendon?
Oh my God. Do you remember the things I was messaging you like, you know, everything's falling apart. I'm so sad. Like everyone was turning against each other. Even fans, like people were we were hating each other. That's how bad it got.
It was a bit like this.
Alphabetically. Adbarkian, Abacanesia who? I hate you! R&B Benson who? I hate you. Hate. Double hate. Loathe entirely.
Entirely.
Loathe entirely. Oh, it's the best. It's actually like that. So you go down your Twitter feed, hate. It's true. But we turned it around.
And everyone has, for the most part, linked up again. Everyone's been accounted for. And I don't know, it was like a biblical moment in time. It's like they had to go to the depths of hell and be tested to see if they wouldn't sack the coach. And then they didn't, and they stuck together. And then
I feel that it's actually good because it's even made the fans stronger. Like I feel people get around each other a little bit more now, and we're easier on each other when we feel certain ways. You know, like people post on Twitter and we'll make a comment or here or there, and it's no longer this hateful conversation from what I can see on my end. But I think that
Yeah.
we've learned from that is not the way to behave, and let's just stick together and move through.
Well, the test will come next time we go on a bit of a rough patch. That's the truth.
It's like a relationship, isn't it?
Yes.
Same thing. Also, I feel, and I don't know if you had this sort of to talk about later, but I really want to talk about Voss
Let's talk about
because
Voss, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about-
do you know why? Because like I'll tell you why I'm thinking of him, right?
Okay.
So I've started back at work, new academic year. My role this year is grade 2 learning coordinator. So, and I don't know if you do this, but in your life, do you compare things that happen to the way things happen in the team and for Carlton, or not really?
Mate,
Okay.
everything.
Okay. So, and it happened when I was in Melbourne and I was with Rocco, and like a song would come on and he'd be like, this is like Carlton, or like a song would come on about something great happening. He's like, this is like Charlie. These lyrics remind me of him, whatever. And I'm trying to channel Voss when I'm at work because I'm leading a team of 12 people who are of really high talent, high capacity.
Yeah.
And I see myself as the coach. Now, with my team, if the shit hits the fan and we're failing, I get called in and I'm held accountable as the coach. Same as what we were doing with Voss. It's his fault. What's he doing? What's going on? But when things go well, and if my team is flying and we're getting those outcomes for the students and everyone's learning and everyone's happy, do I get the same amount of praise? And often you don't. And that's the thing with Voss. We haven't been praising, well, some people have, but as a whole, we're talking more about team effort, individual player effort. Have we actually praised Voss for the huge thing he's done, turning things around since, like you said, since Essendon?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point. Well, that's footy culture, isn't it?
I know.
If it's not going right, first person you go to is the head of the snake, which is the coach.
Yep.
Okay, fair enough. But when things are going well, it's Charlie Curnow,
Yep.
turning form. One thing I think for Voss, he had to be tested. That was the truth.
Yeah.
You can't come to Carlton and coach without going through the ring of fire. It doesn't spare anybody. You know,
What
you have
a
to
hard
face.
team to coach. Like when you think about it, you've got not only those players, but the fan base is a commitment. We are a commitment. You have to commit to the passion and the fire and the blood. It runs through all of us. So
You can't
it's
pretend it's not there. You can't try and quell it.
no.
It's like an entity of its own.
Yeah, it's a living, breathing thing. And I think he's just done such a good job. Like you said, when things go wrong, you say, well, the fish rots from the head. But what about when it's the other way around? If things are going well, does that not start with him? Is that not, and of course, like individual players and team effort, that's a big part of it. But what he's managed to do as the coach is huge. And, even one of the latest press conferences or article that was released today, he was talking about the main goal for this week, and that's just to win. And I love it. I love when I read that, when he talks like that.
Just win, baby.
Just win, baby. Oh, you said that off the balcony in the Gold Coast.
I did. I fired up.
I love it.
What else was I going to say? Oh,
Mm.
do you think we love the club too much? That we can sometimes get in the way of ourselves?
Can you love anything too much? Like, is that really like, is there something so wrong with loving things too much? Maybe it's in the fabric of the club. It's such a I don't know. It's such a cultural thing to love things too much that it makes
Carlton
you
is we as fans, it's life or death. It's everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think over probably the last 12 months especially, but over the, whatever 6 years of doing all of this, it's like I've really met people who like really love the club. And if you are helping and providing happiness towards the club, you get rewarded like it's next level.
It's the best. But that's what makes it so unique. And that's the thing, like we're saying, as a coach, as a player, you have to sign up for the fans when you
Mhm.
sign up for Carlton. You're not just joining a
Yeah,
football club. It's more than that. And I actually think the players learned that this season.
yeah.
I think that they learned during the depths of terrible things happening with fans
Mm,
screaming, all these crazy things out, throwing things, whatever. They probably learned, geez, this means a lot more to a lot more people than what we originally thought.
mm. Well,
That's just,
they have to realize that not they have to. At some point, there has to be a realization that by them going out and performing their roles, doing their job, playing the
mm.
sport that they love, just by doing that, they can literally inspire and make a generation of people happy.
Well, not only make them happy, but make them better.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
we are actually better as partners, as colleagues, as siblings, as whatever, when Carlton are winning.
Yeah.
Is that a lot of pressure on the team? Probably. But
Yeah.
we're better. And the younger generation, they become better because, and you know what, maybe the losses were necessary for them because they become better losers. I know that sounds very bad, but coping with loss is important, and it's an important thing for life to
No,
learn.
you're 100% right. That's why I think, generation before us where Carlton was just great and they, 17 years old all the way through to some of them when they were like 40, it was just great. So
Yep.
they didn't go through the depths of and we have watched because now this is historically the biggest drought, the premiership drought in the club's history. So we
Yeah.
have had to endure the great humbling, you know?
It's definitely character building, and it builds
Mhm.
resilience. And it does filter into your life. I don't care what anyone says. There's a song they play when it comes to finals time. It's more than a game. I'm not going to
Mm.
sing it, but when in that song, it's more than a game. It is. It's people's life.
Mhm.
This makes people happy, and it makes
Yeah.
people miserable when it's not going well.
Have you seen this?
Show me. I'm booking tickets home.
Mate, it's so smart. They
Oh,
launched
it's
it
so
tonight,
good.
like 2.5 hours ago.
Okay.
They sent it through to us as well and, like, you know, to see if we'd get around it, which we absolutely are. Oh,
Absolutely.
if we get it going all the way through to a granny, it is going to be so loud.
We have to, like, people have to. There's no
Yeah.
other choice. We know, like, what do they call it? The 19th man is the fan
Yes.
base. You have to get around it.
Yeah.
There's, there was, I mean, but other people might not know. I'm a Tottenham fan,
Mhm.
which is,
Boo, dickhead.
whatever. I went to Tottenham Stadium only a few weeks ago, and the stadium itself is just incredible, and the
Mm.
sound is just incredible. But the team or the club wanted to survey the fans to ask them how they can enhance the viewing experience and how they can enhance the listening experience too. So I think that came out as like 64% of fans said that they wanted a drummer to be in the atmosphere section. So they have a specific section that's responsible for boosting the atmosphere. So they're trialing it now this season where they'll have a drummer And I think it's great. Why not? This is a similar thing. Why not boost the atmosphere if we can get around them? And we've noticed that when the crowd is up and about, they feed off that, and it's like a cycle. And then we feed off their performance, and it goes back and forth and back and forth. What a great way to engage with the players in the game. Like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you want to do something like this?
100%. And also that song, like
Oh,
we can get Seven Nation because someone's going to do it. So
oh,
it may as well be us. I think they've timed
yeah,
it brilliantly. I mean, I feel like you can only really have such things happen once the team makes finals,
yeah, of course.
and if it ends up being something that works for a game or two or three, let's just say for the rest of this year,
Mm,
and whatever, all the way through to the granny, if we make it, then great. And then if it catches on, whatever. But
great.
I've
There's
seen
no
it in like the
harm.
NBA. No, there's no harm.
Yeah.
There's no
Does it work in the NBA?
Yeah, Miami Heat do it. It's unreal. It's
Wow.
actually unreal. Yeah, and the players are just, I don't know. Look, I think with the players, just come out and lay the first 5 tackles of the game, hard
Yes.
tackle, bring the
Yep.
defensive pressure, and then
Yeah.
that's it. We're
Yeah.
not really that hard to please. Just bring defensive heat, and we will
Yeah.
just spark, and we will go from there.
That's a good point. I feel that because my next question for you was going to be, how does something like that actually start? It's all good in theory, but when it comes to actually starting something like that, do you think it starts from the first bounce, depending on how the boys turn up, and then the fans respond?
I think this week they're going to try it before the game, and then
Hmm.
it may get some reception or not. They need to like come out and match the energy and win the game. And then if it catches, like for me, it's like if it catches on, and then we go to week 1 of the finals, MCG. Let's just say, I mean the likely outcome is GWS in
Yeah.
round 1, right? So let's just say that's what happens. Doesn't matter who it is, but if it works in round 24 and we win the game, then we do it in round 1 of the finals. It's already going to be loud. People are already up and about.
Yeah.
Uh,
True.
and then if it catches on and we win the final, then we go to the next final, we do it again. And then if it catches on, we go again, then that's a prelim. And then,
Yeah. I know.
you know,
And people will just be up and about for the first final anyway, because it's like,
correct.
well, it's been so long. So think the fans will be nervous too, though. There'll be an element of nerves. So
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Yes, there will be nerves, but one of the best ways to cope with nerves is to like create energy. And I
so
think something
true.
like this unifies us all and creates an energy. And like I know I speak to Pom a lot, and he tells me like he gets nervous throughout moments, but like the way he deals with it is he just makes more noise.
Yeah, fair. I like that.
So,
I might use
um,
that in my own life as well. Thanks, Pom.
yeah, start jumping around.
Just go hard. Just start screaming.
Like,
That's all
help!
good.
Help!
Oh, I wish I was there. Fuck.
Well,
It's all
you were
right.
here for Melbourne.
I was. Oh,
You
so
literally
lucky. I know.
you you landed and you were here for like the perfect amount of time. You got sun in winter and you
Yeah.
got one of the best wins in a decade.
And we cried together through the song, arm in
You
arm.
cried. I didn't cry.
Oh,
You cried.
oh, you shed a tear. You shed a
I did not
tear.
shed a tear. I was not crying.
Maybe mum was crying. That's who it was.
Mum was howling. You were, I don't know, I had you in a headlock like this. Your head was like down. You had your hands in your face.
Like,
Ugh.
oh, what a moment. That was so good. Yeah, I was very lucky. Very lucky. I got to see there's the mountain. It was like really just almost at the peak. I was just there. So good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great time to be there. Yeah.
Let's talk about the team
Yeah.
because Reto Andrew Russell, he's got everyone humming at the right time of the year.
Now, because I was working, I missed the team selection.
Right.
But I had a little bit of a look.
So it's the extended team.
Okay.
Walsh, Chera, McGovern in.
Okay.
Durden was named on the extended bench.
Yeah.
I have the bench here somewhere, actually.
Yeah,
Stand
I
by.
had it. Yeah. Let's suss it out properly.
I have it here. Just wait.
Yeah.
Ew. 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 Hang on. Let me just go to the club website.
Yeah.
This is how the team was named, right? So, as I said, in McGovern, Walsh, Chera, Fogarty in, Corey Durden, Reto Durden in,
Yeah. Okay.
Doherty out with soreness, and Ed Kerno, who was the sub. So really, you got to pick
Makes sense.
4 from the following 8. You got to pick 4 from Chincotta, Cunningham, Durden, Fisher, Fogarty, Hollins, Marchbank, and Pitto.
You got to pick 4.
You got to pick 4. We're filming this on Thursday night Melbourne time. Friday afternoon, 5 p.m, the final teams will come out, and pretty much 4 of those 8 interchange players need to be eliminated. And then there's the issue of, is there a laid out? There was talk about Cripps resting because he's got the ribs and all of that.
Oh, okay.
But like, I don't really know what to do.
How do you pick 4? Like,
Okay, so I will say, I think Pitto will play. I think the 2 ruckman
I
thing will
love
help.
Pitto. Yeah.
Yeah, he gets a bad rap.
Gets
a bad rap. I don't get
Like,
it. I
I
think
know
because
there's
he's not
footage.
flashy.
Yeah, but like that's okay. Like we talk all the time about people just playing their role. Just play your role. And there's footage of him sort of at moments in the game just standing there. But don't take it out of context.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I love Pitto. Pitto's in.
He
Come
creates space at stoppage. He gets in opposition players' way and does all that. Granted, he's not moving very well right now with that leg. And
he's like a mummy.
Yeah.
Taped up.
He's not marking the ball like we really feel like he should, but
Yeah.
he doesn't get dominated. He does not get beaten by his opponent. He brings the ball to ground. He contests.
Yeah.
He'll get there. I think he'll get there. You know, he's a lot younger than what people believe.
Yeah. What's his age?
Have a guess.
23.
Oh, Steph.
Well, you said he's a lot younger. I'm just trying to like meet you halfway.
He's 20.
Well,
he's 27.
Oh, okay.
I
How
met him.
How old do people think he is? What do you
Okay,
mean?
I thought he was older. So in 2019, I think it was, I went to the best and fairest, and I think it was 2019. I met him. I'm like, oh man, you're a bit of a senior body. You're 26, 27. He's like, mate, I'm 23.
Oh, at that time. Wow. Okay.
At that time, yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah.
he's Anyway,
I saw
that's
him actually.
Pitto.
I saw him at the club when I came to Melbourne.
Yeah,
I didn't want
starstruck.
to bug him. I was
Okay.
starstruck, but I didn't want to bug him. He had his oat laugh around. Okay, that's Pitto. So are we picking Pitto? Are we doing this right now?
Let's do it. I'll pick Pitto.
Yep.
I feel like Fisher will play. What?
Okay. No. It's fine. It's fine. You can
Fisher
pick
will
Fisher.
absolutely play. There's no way they're dropping Fisher. There's no way.
Okay, good. I feel like Hollins will play.
See, I thought they would drop him.
Okay.
I don't know why.
All right.
I've got nothing against him, but I mean, if that's your pick, that's your pick.
This happened to me on the jumper punch. I pick a name and they're like, well, you can't pick him. Why not? I pick what I want.
You can pick him. All right. Pick him.
I'll pick
And
Hollins.
then we've got to pick one out of Fogarty, Durden, Cunningham, and Chincotta. I don't think Corey will play.
Okay. Why?
I think there's just too many ahead of him.
Okay.
And he's a sore boy, but he played well last week in the VFL, even though they got smashed. I don't know. I love him. I just have a feeling he won't play. I don't know.
Yeah.
Cunningham might need a bit of a rest.
Yes.
Potentially.
It's
I love
Fogarty.
Chincotta and I love Fogarty. I love them
Yes.
both.
I love Chincotta for his passion as well. He brings
Yes.
an edge,
Mm,
which I mean, there's other players on the team that also bring that, so we're not going to be lacking. But is it Fogarty?
mm.
I feel like
Well,
it
there's
is.
Marchbank as well. I'm a big fan. Big fan.
I'm a fan. But if you have to pick,
Do you
I'm
feel
a
like
fan.
there has to be McGovern or Marchbank in the team?
Yes,
Hmm.
I do.
I think because Kemp has become Kemp
Yeah,
that we have this issue.
yeah. Well, what a good issue to have, though.
Yes.
And I was thinking about this as well. So, what do they call it? Depth in the squad. You know, we've got that clearly.
Yep.
But I think what it also creates is a bit of competition amongst them too. And people talk about this all the time. There's I actually want to talk about. Do you know Kate Reed? She is the owner and founder of Loon Croissants.
Yes.
There's a story to this, so hear me out. So
Yep.
she is was an aerospace engineer for the Formula One team, the Williams team. And a little bit of her time was spent with Force India too. Now, her job was to create the parts for Formula One cars. So she'd do models and then put them forward. She would make 20 models, and in between each model was a variance of 2 degrees. And then she'd send them up. Her boss would pick one, test it. If it didn't work, all of them were thrown away. She's getting paid barely any money to do this job that was just ridiculous amount of hours, a lot of stress. But she was told every Friday that on her boss's desk was 2 to 3,000 applicants for her job. So what she would do was push even harder because she didn't want to lose that position. And I feel like you can compare that story to these guys. If they know that there's players out there that can take their role the next week, are they not going to be pushing and performing even more?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. So I think it's a good problem to have that we've got this issue where we've got
Yeah.
Kemp, and that means we've got to have either McGovern or Marchbank. You know what I mean? Like you were just saying. So
Yeah. There's such a big carrot dangling out the front of all of them now because they all want to be a part of the first finals team. They all want to be a
yes,
part of it. Surely they know that we can win. We can win it, and they know it.
oh yeah,
And we haven't, we've been at this point in the year, every year, it's like, so and so's gone off for surgery, getting
yeah,
ready for the preseason. So this is the first time that that's not happening with this
mm-hmm.
group. So I don't have any issue. I don't have too much of a concern this week with, are they going to get complacent because they're already in finals? Because it's like, no, because these, bottom bracket of players who are at risk of not keeping their spot, they're going to be playing as hard as they possibly can.
Yep, they will. Yeah, it's going to be amazing to see. I actually think all of them will lift because of the kinds of conversations you and I, like we're sitting here now having this conversation. They know that the selection team are having these conversations. Who do we choose? And it's just going to go based purely on performance and what they see the week before. There's no other way.
Yeah.
So,
Are we winning the flag?
I mean, what did you say in your podcast? Why not?
Why not? Why not
Why not?
us?
Are we winning the flag? I liked what Pommy said on the Blue Broad show, where
Mhm.
it's 5 wins ahead of us, and that's what we have to see. Is that what he said?
No, he said this.
Second half of the season, we're doing a title charge.
Yeah. That's so good. Oh, it's so good. Why not us? Why? Why not us?
Yeah. I mean, it obviously it's one game at a time, but I don't go into this final series like, I'm a bit nervous. Oh, they've never been in
No.
finals, and there's the part of me that's also like, part of the journey now is there's heartbreak. We are recovered from the heartbreak last year, but there's always more ecstasy and heartbreak along the way.
Yeah.
So
I actually do believe that we can make it. I really do believe it. Like
yeah.
we're looking at flights already. That's
Like,
crazy.
so wait, if we make the granny, you're coming for the granny?
Hard yes, of course.
As in, will you stretch it out to the prelim?
Well, this is where it's tough because you're like, well, do you book tickets now for the first final just to say, oh, well, I was there? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, do you do that or do you wait? Maybe people can give me some advice. Do you wait and say, if we make it to the grand final, we'll be there? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's such a tough decision to make, but either way, I actually do think we can. There's no doubt that we can make it to the grand final.
So you're going to wait until if we win a prelim and then like book in the moment, or like what do you do? You buy refundable tickets?
What do you do? I don't know. I've never made a grand final. Haven't made finals for a long time. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I feel like it would be worth just booking for the finals because at least we get to see that. Like, it'd be better than nothing because then if we don't make it, at least we were there. I don't know. It's tough.
Is there anybody watching this that can leave a comment below that does not live or has not lived in Australia for a grand final? Like, how did you book it? What did you do?
That's a good idea. Actually, yeah. And if you didn't book it and then you missed or something happened, how did you feel? Just to front load me, am I going to feel like it was the wrong decision? I mean, you never really know. You can only make the decision with what you've got, but geez.
Yeah. Well, we've been
what a
waiting
time to be away.
What a time to be alive. And
Yeah.
it's about damn time because we have endured a lot. I don't think we could have endured worse.
No.
I genuinely mean that. Like, how much worse could it have gotten?
The only way it could have gotten worse is if this season continued to just drop.
Yep.
That's the only way, and it would have been worse, of course. But what we went through, I mean, amazing that you've documented this for the last 5 to 6 years because we can go back and see how bad it was to really push forward. And Pommy mentioned this too, the story about his nan when, she was ill and his pop said to him, enjoy this, that she's come to watch you play golf because it's going to get you through those times when it's really, really hard. And it's like we need to channel that energy of when it was really, really tough because it's been terrible for such a long time. We need to channel that to appreciate what we've got right now. You can't have good times without that.
You need a weight to carry. You need a weight to carry. And I can be patient now more than ever because I think my biggest fear was, are we going to watch a basket case of a team again? Are we going to watch these players become nothing of themselves again? Like the previous rebuild failed. It failed.
Oh, yeah.
Completely failed. What did we see? 3 finals appearances, didn't get out of the second round. So, like it was, we had hyped them all up to be these champions and even treated them like champions when they retired. It was weird.
Yeah. Oh, don't even talk about that. I know exactly what you mean. Never again. Never again.
Pommy got me. He asked. He was watching the Blue Abroad show after the Essendon game, and I don't go back and watch the shows. And I didn't want to watch that one because I'm like, oh, it's going to be gross. I think we were really good in terms of we were calm, we were practical, we were hurting, we were repeating ourselves. But I actually think the biggest test for the channel and for us as fans was how we go through the losing streak, how we dealt with it. And for whatever reason, people will look at the 1% who, were pretty toxic and then sort of like blanket that as the fan. I actually think for the most part, I can only speak on the channel's sort of behalf.
Yeah.
It was like it was contained. It wasn't out of control.
And wasn't that word apathy being thrown around a lot? Like, people were just broken. It wasn't, I know what you mean. It was, people were just broken and sad. It was sadness.
Yeah.
Are we really still doing this? But anyway, we're through.
No, we're here.
I think you do need to unpack those things, not that you go back and live in the past, but you do need to unpack those things while things are going really well so that you can really appreciate it for what it's worth, which is
Yeah.
what we're trying to say. Yeah.
No doubt. Well, they burnt away the bullshit at Kerno camp. That's what they did.
I totally agree. I reckon they had one sitting here with all of them around.
Yeah.
And it was just you, and then they took turns. I mean, I hope that's what happened.
Yeah. I mean,
Or maybe it
the
was just more team building than anything.
maybe. Well, you have to build conversations. Also, in order to connect with a group, you need to build trust amongst everyone. And they
It's so
probably
true.
just weren't trusting of each other because they hadn't built
Yeah.
the relationships long enough. And this was also the big part why I remember thinking, don't sack Voss, because you bring another coach in and got to build relationships again, and that takes time.
Yeah. Yeah. And then,
So,
you had mentioned something about connecting a passage of play between Owies and Charlie, and you were talking about it being like the NBA when they trust the player
mm,
when they're passing the ball. I think that's what you were saying. And you can see that now that they have that trust, but it had
mm,
to be built because it didn't seem that way in the past.
yeah.
Maybe that's what the Kerno camp did.
Well, they ended up losing to Essendon the week after the Kerno camp, so there's that.
Yeah.
But
We'll let
takes
it fit
time.
our narrative. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes time. These things take time.
Oh,
So,
it does.
yeah.
It takes ages to build that, like psychological safety and building a team. I even said this to my team today at work. We have to just focus on term one, which is just
Mhm.
making sure we are building team. And I don't care about anything else. As long as we work together, then we'll teach better. Our students will be happier. Everything will just work.
Mhm.
But it starts with us. So I think that the boys did that. Mm,
It does. Well, I think that is a great way to wrap up this episode.
absolutely, my friend.
This is
This has
great.
been
Wow.
fabulous.
This was fun.
So good.
This
You
is
know what?
uh,
It might even be like an after work. I'll pour myself a glass of red wine. We'll have a chat because the time zone is just perfect for that.
yep, perfect for you. Yep. I might just have it.
It's perfect for me. I mean, I'm great. I don't know about you.
I'll have a disco nap beforehand.
Come on.
That's what I'll
You
do.
can
I'll have to have
stretch out. You can stretch out the sleep cycle. I know you like to
I
get
know.
to bed
It's not
early.
like I'm not in bed scrolling at this time anyway.
Exactly. What more would you want to be doing right now? And it's a good way to catch up.
Yes, it's family time. We got to
Yeah.
get Chris on. Oh, we should get Mum on.
Oh, let's get Mom. She'll love it.
She will. I should probably do a Carlton People episode with Mum because she's
Oh,
like
she would
how I
love it.
became a supporter.
She would love
Mm,
it. And then she'll probably be able to stop saying sorry for forcing us to
true.
follow Carlton.
Rocco was saying that too. He's like, man, man, you know what I mean? I had to like apologize to Dylan.
Yeah. Mum did remember she would go, sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I got be more, please. Don't blame me. We're like, it's all right, Mum.
It's 100% you. No, it's you know what I've realized? It's all gonna be worth it.
Oh, absolutely. I
Gonna
wouldn't
be
have it
worth it.
any other way. I wouldn't have changed it. Like maybe a couple of years earlier to have had some success, but overall, it's been pretty good. This feels better for what we went through.
Which one loss, this will be the final question. Which one loss has been the one where you're like, that was fucked?
I think it's the same for everyone. Round 23, last season, Collingwood. To me, it doesn't get
Yes.
worse. It doesn't get worse than that. If it wasn't Collingwood, maybe I would have found another one. But
Mm.
because it was them as well.
So, like, yes, that's obviously the one that sticks out, and that's the one that hurt us the most. I have not recovered from Adelaide 2020.
I don't even remember that. What happened?
Finals on the line.
Yep.
Bryce Gibbs' last game. No
Oh,
application. They let him run around and do anything he wanted. We had like 35 or 40 in his last game. Like, like no defensive commitment, and
Okay. That's not the one where they carried him off.
yeah, or was that 2021?
Oh, is that the? Oh, okay. They carried him off.
It was like a death of my club.
They carried him off. Never again. Learn from the mistakes of the past. Never
No,
again.
all power to Gibbsy. Well done on a career. But
Great.
I feel like you chair off your champions, and your champions are premiership heroes. Otherwise, everyone gets carried off. Otherwise,
You know what it was? It was a sign of the times where we were at mentally as a club. That shows the level of excellence that we were willing to accept. And it was like, there, let's just go carry him off, shall we?
I think it's just more so the image of him being in an opposition jumper.
I know.
I don't know. It's just a photo.
That's why it gets to you.
You know. Anyway.
No more of that. Onwards and upwards.
Steffi, it has been a pleasure. Yalla. Have a great day. Go Blues.
You too. Good night. Go Blues.